Did you hear a Derek Jeter Upper Deck SP rookie card graded a PS10 sold for over $600,000 on Golden Auctions? Golden is the leading and most trusted destination for some of the most significant pieces of sports and pop culture collectibles, and better yet, it's not just for high-ticketed items. Golden's new always-on marketplace and weekly auctions start at just $5. That means collectors of all kinds can enjoy the same quality, convenience, and seamless user experience that Golden is known for. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, grade, or vault, Golden has something for everyone. Your one-stop destination for the love of collecting. Over the three most recent market crashes, sports cards have held a stable value. While the S&P 500 fell by an average of nearly 17% and bonds took a small hit, sports cards actually saw overall positive returns. Interested in selling your collectibles? Now's the time to do so. Golden is offering no marketplace fees for items sold under $10,000. Vault, list, and sell your items on Golden's marketplace today. Offer ends April 30th. Head over to golden.co to get started. That's GOLDIN.co.
Good morning, White Sox fans. I'm Jim Margulis, and this is your White Sox wake-up call for Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. The White Sox opened their season series against Minnesota on Monday by scoring in only one inning, and they committed 3 errors, which led to 2 unearned runs and about 20 extra pitches on Dylan Cease's tab. And yet they still managed to win 4-3 because the embattled bullpen carried a 1-run lead over the final 4 innings and with minimal drama. Jimmy Lambert pitched a perfect 6th, Kendall Graveman worked around a 1-out single in the 7th, and even though Aaron Bummer plunked a batter in the 8th, Reynaldo Lopez came in early and picked up a 4-out save. It was the only part of the game that resembled a clinic for the White Sox. Cease was tough to hit as usual, but he created his own trouble by walking 2 and plunking 2. 3 different infielders committed errors, and the only starter who didn't had to leave the game because one of the mistakes caused an awkward collision near third base. Fortunately, Hanser Alberto gave more than he took. He provided the game's big swing in the 4th inning as he followed Yasmani Grandal's game-tying RBI single by turning on a spinning Kenta Maeda slider and sending it over the left field wall for a 3-run homer that gave the Sox a 4-1 lead. But Alberto's defense also gave the Twins their first 2 runs. In the 3rd, he let a 2-out hot shot by Nick Gordon get through him for a 1-0 Minnesota lead. An inning later, he had a chance to start an inning 5-4-3 double play on a Michael A. Taylor 2-hopper, but he instead tried to start a rundown with the lead runner off second. He got the 5-4 force after hesitation, but then he cut off Elvis Andrus' throw towards third base halfway, missed the tag on Matt Wallner, then flipped wide to Anderson at third. As Anderson sprawled to corral it, Wallner flopped onto Anderson's knee as he dived towards third base. Trevor Larnach capitalized on the extra out with a single that made it 4-2. In the 5th, the right side of the infield got involved. Andrus let a Gordon grounder handcuff him for a 1-out error, and after Cease recovered with the strikeout, Wallner hit a grounder that went through the wickets of Gavin Sheets at first base. Sheets didn't really know what to do with himself afterwards. He took a shot from Wallner because he walked backwards into Wallner's path in front of first base, and then he cut off a promising throw home from Oscar Colas for no reason. Gordon scored after the unnecessary relay, and that made it a 4-3 game. Fortunately for Pedro Grifol, everybody tightened it up on the run prevention side the rest of the way. Aaron Bummer invited the only real tension in the 8th, but Romy Gonzalez, who entered the game because Anderson had to depart the game with a sore knee, made a fantastic ranging play to his right to save one base runner, and Lopez ended up stranding the guy who reached. The White Sox improved to 5-6, while the Twins are 6-4. Considering the Twins rested Byron Buxton while scratching Carlos Correa and Joey Gallo, it would have been nice to see the White Sox win in more convincing fashion. Then again, the White Sox are dealing with issues of their own. Before the game, the White Sox placed Joe Kelly on the 15-day injured list due to a strained right groin he suffered while running in from the bullpen during Sunday's bench clearing incident. They called up non-roster invitee Keenan Middleton to take his place and opened a spot on the 40-man roster for Middleton by designating Jonathan Stever for assignment. They also rested Yohan Moncada due to a recurrence of the sore back that nagged him towards the end of spring training, and now there's Anderson's knee. Anderson remained in the game initially, but it started stiffening up on him, so he's undergoing further evaluation. Pedro Grifol said he's optimistic, but news broke late Monday that Lynn Sosa is heading to Chicago to join the team. We'll see who's available tonight when the White Sox and Twins meet for Game 2 at Target Field. Lance Lynn is scheduled to go up against Pablo López. The Twins acquired Lopez from Miami for Luis Arias, and Lopez is looking like the pitching equivalent of a batting champ early. He's allowed just 1 run over his 2 starts spanning 12 1/3 innings, allowing just 10 base runners while striking out 16. Lynn, meanwhile, has to recover from his flop against the Giants on Wednesday, as he gave up 8 runs on 3 homers over 4 1/3 innings. Keep an eye on his velocity and the number of lefties he has to face. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. Central on NBC Sports Chicago, but you can also watch the game with Sox Machine and from the 108 on Playback. Go to playback.tv/Sox Machine, create an account, verify your cable or streaming subscription, and you'll be on your way to watching the game with us Mystery Science Theater style. Down on the farm, the White Sox affiliates were dormant on Monday as usual, but when play resumes, the Charlotte Knights will host the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, the Birmingham Barons will have their home opener against the Rocket City Trash Pandas, the Winston-Salem Dash will do the same against the Brooklyn Cyclones, while the Kannapolis Cannonballers are still on the road against the Delmarva Shorebirds. Around the league, the Tampa Bay Rays became the first team since the 1987 Milwaukee Brewers to start a season 10-0, and they finally won their first close game by shutting out Boston 1-0. They ran the opener plan to near perfection as 5 Rays pitchers combined for a 3-hitter and bought enough time for Brandon Lau's solo shot in the 8th inning. Were you aware that old friend Ian Hamilton is now pitching for the Yankees? I did not learn that until just now when I saw that he took the loss in Cleveland's 3-2 victory over New York. His dreaded leadoff walk came around a score in the bottom of the 7th to put the Guardians ahead, and then James Karinchak stranded Gleyber Torres' leadoff double with a pop out and 2 strikeouts. Emmanuel Clase closed it out, and the Guardians are now atop the Central at 7-4. Elsewhere in the division, the Royals fell to 3-8 after the Rangers thumped them 11-2. Things got out of hand during a 7-run 6th. The Tigers had the day off, which they could probably use given that they're 2-7. In other scores, the Phillies shelled reigning Cy Young winner Sandy Alcantara for 9 runs over 4 innings in a 15-3 victory over the Marlins, while Max Scherzer outdueled Yu Darvish in the Mets' 5-0 shutout of the Padres. To see the theme of zeros all the way through, the Diamondbacks blanked Milwaukee 3-0 on the strength of Zach Gallen's 11 strikeouts over 7 innings. That'll do it for this edition of the White Sox Wake Up Call. Visit SoxMachine.com to talk about the game, the newest edition of the Future Sox podcast, the injuries to Yohan Moncada and Tim Anderson, and later in the day, I'll post a P.O. Sox mailbag exclusively to those who support Sox Machine on Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, if you do not yet support us, now's a chance to do so. Go to patreon.com/SoxMachine where you can get an ad-free version of the site and show with bonus content on both, like the aforementioned mailbag, along with other perks. Plans start at $2 a month. Otherwise, you can subscribe to the Sox Machine podcast wherever podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to the Sox Machine podcast. For SoxMachine.com, I'm Jim Margulis.